Welcome back to the Stop Snitchin podcast.
Sir,
It's Nathan. It's Brandon.
we back.
Brandon has not slept for 2 days. Is that true?
Shout out to Coke.
Shout out to Coca-Cola.
That is true, man. So,
Welch's
back
gummies.
from, where did I just get back from?
South?
Houston.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas. Let me get it right. Austin, Texas.
Austin.
So I found out is that there's a South by Southwest and there's an Austin City Limits Festival. Because I remember
It's all in Texas, though. Right?
Yeah, it's all in the same place, but there's two different major festivals. Because I remember on YouTube when Trav dropped, what was his last album? What was that album called? Astroworld.
Was that?
He did a
Gotta be right.
performance, which I thought was South by Southwest, but it was really Austin City Limits because it was in this huge stadium. So I found that out, which is cool. But
is there a difference between the two?
I think Austin City Limits is just strictly music festival. South by Southwest is music and tech. So there's a week of tech and there's a week of music.
Okay.
I don't know which week. I think we were the last week because I think it ends on the 20th, so tomorrow. But I think it started on the 6th or something. It's like a 2-week kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't always do the tech thing.
I think that was really recent.
I always thought it was just a music festival.
Yeah, it was. Because the guys interviewed Bun B, and he was like, Bun B was actually the first hip hop artist to ever perform at South by Southwest in 2006.
Well, that because it was in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And he said it after his towards the end of his performance, he was like, back in 2006 at the first South by, I was the first rapper. And I'm going to continue to be you know what I'm saying? He's going to continue the streak, especially because it's in Texas. Which I was like, dang, I didn't know South by was around.
South by Southwest is huge.
Yeah,
I don't think
I know it's huge, but I didn't know it had that much longevity to it. I thought it was kind of maybe 2010s-ish. Because I guess that's when I started understanding
You know what's funny? I don't even think of what year it is. What year is it? Oh, it's 2022? Okay, yeah, it's been a while.
Well, that's why in the last one we were talking about, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about Joe Rogan, and you said he started in 2008 for his podcast. Yeah,
I think
I was
so.
like, damn, that's a long time.
2008 is I'm trying to think.
That's 14 years ago.
I mean, 2008 I was still buying music off of iTunes, right? When was streaming a thing? When do you remember?
Streaming was a thing no,
but for you, do you remember when you converted fully to streaming?
2015 when Apple Music started.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah,
but I feel in the last 5 is just non-negotiable. There's you don't buy music.
Yeah, I remember it because it was the summer, and that was when Meek and Drake were beefing. So you remember, Charged Up was one of the first songs. Charged Up and Back to Back was one of the first songs to go crazy on streaming platforms.
Really? Mm-hmm. Is that one of the first?
Yeah, because I was around that time. That was July 2015-ish, I think, because Meek had dropped his album. Yeah, because
I believe Dre, you're always right about these dates.
Beats by Dre had inked that partnership with Apple, and it started as Beats Music. So Beats Music was a thing 2014-ish. Okay. But then it went full
2015
on,
was Charged Up.
Yeah, it went full on Apple Music streaming 2015. So that was the first time I remember.
Oh no, it's because he did it live at OVO Fest in 2015. You remember OVO Fest? Did they still do that?
I don't know why they stopped it.
OVO Fest was nutty, bro. Those lineups were crazy.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Everybody at that thing.
I think pandemic sucked. Toronto is definitely serious about the pandemic, so ain't nothing happening out there.
I remember the Charged Up disc because he brought back the album artwork was that original battery charge for your old iPhone.
That's when he inked his deal with Apple. It all makes sense now.
That is hard.
Looking back on it, but I think streaming was 2015. That's when it all really took off.
Man, but wait, so what? Is it no sleep because there's just so much work to do?
Yeah, so their activation was from 2 in the afternoon to 2 in the morning. And then our flight was at 6 in the morning back here. So there was no sleep.
And then you got back.
So I got back yesterday and I had to start editing. And I still got some editing to do. And then because we were doing stuff for In Your Leisure and United Masters. So it was It was like a double. Usually it doesn't.
For North 13th.
Yeah.
It was for both. So of them.
So we were doing it. It was like, it's interesting because the event was called Earn Your Masters, right? So it was a collaboration between EYL, United Masters, and Ally Bank. So we obviously do what we do for EYL, but United Masters also wanted content as well. So we were like double dipping.
Nice.
It's cool until you gotta do it, and then it's like, oh snap! Like
you gotta.
But it's cool. Like it's all good. Like editing is cool. I think it harks back to like what we were talking about, like creative not being easy, and it's very like taxing. So I'm like feeling that right now. Travel, edit, gotta go back out again. Still gotta edit. Like
yeah, bro.
Is what it is,
I feel that too. This week was just like hella stressful. Just like one of those weeks where it's like from start to finish, it's just. You just get to the end and I'm happy you made it through. Yeah, happy you make it through sometimes, man. And that's why I'm like, I guess I'm more of a realist in that sense. I'm like, you know, look, I signed up for this, right? Like, sure. It's hard. I think that's what I tell anybody I work with on my team, whatever. Like, there's a reason not everybody does this, right? There's a reason that a lot of people like to be employees. And trust me, there's moments every single day where I'm like, I would love to be someone's employee right now. Like, just, you tell me what to do. Yeah. You right? Yeah. Because I feel like, what's more draining? Physically doing something every day or deciding what everybody is going to do every day? For me, it's that mental weight. It's knowing I'm responsible for all of these things, right? It's like with the camera can be physically draining. I'm sure 12 hours of holding this and doing that, but thinking about what you have to do, like, are you more tired, like, not like, maybe not emotionally, but like, you know what I mean, like just brain wise versus physically?
I'm always like physically I'm like good, like it you know, it was a 12-hour day, but like there were some breaks, so like you kind of pace yourself. Really, the draining part is like the edit. It's just editing, like focusing and telling a story, and I think having to up what you've already done, which is like, all right, like how do I, like.
Especially when you always think what you're doing's good, because you're always giving 100%. You're like, how am I supposed to do better than that? It's just like I was talking to Jalil. I was like, yo, like it's draining doing a video. Like draining from start to finish is draining because you shoot it, then you're thinking like, how am I going to put it together? Then you put it together, and like by the time you put it together, you're like, damn, like I just need to take a nap. You know what I'm saying? Because so much goes into it, or at least the videos that we do. But it's fun though, because like when you put it together, it's fun. Like the part for me that's getting hard is like starting it. Like when I know I have to do it and starting it, like that's the part I'm like, all right, I just got to start it. Like when I start it, I'll be good. But it's just about getting to that point of like, all right, I'm ready to do this now. I have the motivation.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's why tight deadlines work for me, because it's like, all right, you just got to do it. Like sometimes when there's a little bit of time, it's like, all right, well.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to take a day or two to just chill.
Because I know once I do it, it's going to take me an hour or two. Like, it's not, or 3, depending. Like, it's not going to be a crazy amount of time. It's just like, I need to dedicate that time to doing it. Right. And knocking it out. So that's more of the draining part when it comes to editing. But, I mean, like, the good thing about Thursday was it was like 50, 60 degrees out there. So it was cool. Like, it wasn't hot. Like, usually it could get hot out there. So like the
weather today.
Yeah. I
was saying that to like Adriana. We were just walking outside. I'm like, wow. It's funny how like seasonal depression, that's a real thing. Whether or not you feel like, you know, like actually really sad, but there is like a suppressed feeling all throughout the winter where you're like, I don't realize like my endorphins just like shoot up when I go outside and it's warm and it's sunny and I'm like, I want to be outside. I want to be around people. Like, I don't know. For me, there's 3-4 months every year where I'm like, nah, I'm good.
That's why
I don't want to go outside.
The suicide rates in Alaska are like the highest because it's like,
well, and they have the sun thing.
Yeah,
so like when we were in Stockholm and like Oslo, like
places like
Norway,
that.
Like all that stuff. Like that's crazy, bro. It's amazing when it's sunny. when you're literally having dinner outside at 10:45 at night and the sun isn't even going down yet.
Right.
That's great. But the opposite of that
is,
oh man, that would get you. Don't? Would you think that would get to you? Like dark all the time.
Like the just light and darkness plays like a key role in just like mental health as a whole. Because sometimes like, you know, you want to go outside the days like today, but some people like rain. Like some people like when it rains.
I do love the rain.
You know what I'm saying? Like you need the balance of it. That's why it's cool living in Jersey, because you get everything.
Yeah, but like you said about like the London weather, like I've always said like I think I would love to live in Seattle or like Portland, like the Northwest. Like give me the mountains, give me like the dreary, give me the rain. I like that. I think it's like it helps me be calm.
It's calming, yeah. Sometimes
I see the outside and it like makes me feel like like I gotta just go. Like there's something I have to do out there, and maybe there isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you want to take advantage of it.
Well, like when you feel stressed, like where do you feel that?
Where do I feel it?
Like, is it a physical feeling for you? Like for me, stress hits like it's my neck, it's my shoulders. I feel my back just tense. Oh my, it's like debilitating. Like if I have a long stressful day.
For me, it's mental. It's just like, well, nah, it's physical because I'm like just tired. Like I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. Like I just want to chill and watch something. Like, so I think it's more of just like a fatigue, a lack of energy, more so than feeling it in a part of a body. It's just like a lack of energy and a lack of like want to.
Yeah.
In every way. Like people will call me, I'll be like, yeah, I just can't right now. And I feel bad, but it's like real. Like you gotta know yourself. So it's like, hey, you may be calling, but I'm not beat for like a 20-minute conversation right now. Like, just text me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell people all the time. Like, literally, all you got to do is text me. I got you. Calls. It depends on how I'm feeling. I may not get back to you because, I don't know. Calls are intimidating to me. I hate phone calls. I hate phone calls.
I don't like phone. Well, here's the thing. I think we both, in our dated, like, business hours, all I'm doing is on the phone. Everybody calls, call. It's phones, ring. Yeah. Always. I hear that in my sleep sometimes, that fucking ring. So when I'm out, off work, don't call me. Yeah. Don't, like, no shot. Like, Adriana knows, when I'll call her from, like, work, like, on the way home, bro, this is like a 90-second phone call.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to talk to, I'm like, just say, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you in 40 minutes. Just save it. Right. Otherwise, I'm going to have nothing to hear about your day. Like, just hold on. Like, you know?
I'm more like, down to listen. Yeah, I'm down to listen. I just, the phone call stuff is like, especially when you have to catch up with people, that intimidates me. When I haven't talked to you in a while, you want to catch up, and I'm like, I don't really got the time, honestly. And I don't know when I'm going to have the time.
It's like, I don't know what I got to talk about.
You have to link in person, like. Yeah. I hate the phone stuff because it's like, I don't know. It's just, I'm more
FaceTime?
of an in-person. Yeah.
FaceTime is like
FaceTime is way more exhausting, bro.
If you call people unprovoked FaceTime, bro. Oh, God. Listen to me. If you do that, stop doing that. Yeah. That is, bro.
Because it's like, what are you calling me for right now?
Aggressive way. Like, what? Yeah. You don't know where I'm at. Like, what? Like, no. Yeah. And then what? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna decline it and text you and be like, oh, sorry, I'm
right
in the middle of something. Like, bro, I'm just sitting on my couch alone. But like, damn, I don't want to be on FaceTime right now.
Sorry,
like,
man, just seeing this. Like, that's my go-to.
We gotta plan this out. Yeah. Like, you gotta.
I'm
throw it on the Google Calendar, bro.
I realize I'm not a communication person through phone, like through like talking on the phone. In person, I'll engage with you. It's all good. I'll text you, but like FaceTime or call, if you're not my girl, like nah, bro. Don't just be hitting me.
Don't be hitting my line like that.
You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like, all right, what is this person? So you're like weighing all these options in a matter of the 10 seconds that you have to pick up the phone. You're like, do I have the energy? What could this be about? How do I solve it? What answers can I give? Like, it's a lot. So sometimes I'll just be like, all right, I'm just not answering it right now.
Yeah, I can't.
You know what I'm saying? So unless it's like my mom, and I know she's calling for a reason. There's not like
any
BS involved. Like,
we all have the short list of people
exactly.
that I'm picking up the phone
one of them. If you know me, I do not call you unless it's like, yo, I need, like, this is important.
Yes. You call me when you're like, I'm here.
Yeah, like, I'm here.
I'm like, okay.
Cool. And that's another thing. Like, yo, all right, so do you give people a courtesy text as to when you're here, or do you just knock on their door?
No, I would text you that I'm here.
That's like commonplace practice, right? For most people.
Do people not do that?
People do not. People just like...
Yeah,
they just show up.
Do they say they're on their way?
Maybe.
No, that's insane.
Yeah, like
you got to give me one of the
show
other.
up like, yo, I'm here. Or I'm like, all right, well, I'm in the shower. Like, I'm taking a smash. Like, what you mean you're here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, I always give the common courtesy of on my way, I'm here. And then it's like, all right, if it's like 2 to 3 minutes, I might call you like, all right, like I'm outside. Yeah. Because maybe you didn't see it. But I don't know. Some people don't have that kind of etiquette. They just like pull up.
Oh, that's definitely a poll. That's crazy. If you don't text, like, that's wild. Mm-hmm. If you got to text when you're here, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I'm on my way. Mm-hmm. I'm big on that. I'm on my way. And because they're different people, on my way means different things. Yeah. We all know on my way could mean I'm not even dressed yet.
Right.
Versus I'm on my way means I'm in the car driving you. Like, if I text you I'm on my way, I'm like pulling out of the driveway.
Right.
And then I'm definitely hitting you with the I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely know you. I could let you know I'm on the way. I'm here. I haven't gotten a text back yet, so I'll give you like one song in the car before I'm like, I'm here. Like,
the on my way text is dangerous, man. It's dangerous because I'm definitely both sides. I'll definitely hit
you. Both sides. I'm on my way.
Because it's like, all right, I know I'm supposed to be there.
What happened?
I know I'm supposed to be there, so let me just hit him like, yo, I'm on my way. Just so he's like, all right, cool.
So I know that you know.
But I'll say this though, it's not like I was sleeping and I say I'm on my way. Like, I'm generally really on my way. I may have to do like a couple things or whatever, but like I'm generally like there to the point where like,
you mean if you're like out, not like at home, like I'm on my way, I'm coming from place.
Yeah, at home too. Like, I won't be like I won't say I'm on my way and just be like not doing
just
shit.
Asleep at the crib.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't do that. But it is like a general, like, all right, on my way. That gives me some time to, like, just get myself together a little bit. And then times like today, I'm like, yo, I'm on my way. Like, I'm ready. What's up?
Yeah, you're already here.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm definitely both.
Yeah, Adrian, like is Karina a phone call person? Like, does she want to
be talking on the phone?
She wants to call. That's Adriana, bro.
We're like opposite.
Shit is crazy.
But we're like opposites because she's talking on the phone. She's text everybody, like, just random stuff, like...
Oh, like hyper communicator.
Yeah, just like just talking all day, communicator, whatever.
Just talking and talk.
You know, like the person, like, she'll catch up with somebody and they'll talk for an hour.
Whoa.
Like, I mean, I'm just like, dang, I don't know how you do it. Like, I just can't. Like, it's very, like, intimidating to do that.
There's not even a slim shot. No shot, bro. No
like,
shot.
Yeah. But she...
Adriana's the same way. She'll call.
I feel like
she
most
could
women are like that.
Talk.
Women are like that.
Maybe.
My mom's low key like that. My mom's a good catcher upper.
Your mom's a good like phone call talk.
She is.
I feel like I've definitely heard less than 1,000 words from your mom, and I've known her for 20 years.
Probably.
I will say, when I talk to your mom, what I like is, it's like direct, like it's straight to the point, but it's not like aggressive. No. It's just she's like very good at like finding the topic. This is what we're talking about. Yeah. I'm gonna give you all the information about it. And then if we find another topic, then cool. We can talk. If not, but then she's also very good at being quiet. She's good at that.
Yeah, she's
listening, but also just like finding good like. Yeah. Just, okay, we're going to let this breathe for a second, and something will naturally come back in. You know what I mean? It's very calculated. I feel like Miss Debbie is very calculated.
Yeah, that is true, man. I got some of those qualities where, like...
You definitely do.
When I talk to your mom, I could talk, like, because it's your mom, or it's your dad.
Yeah.
Some people, it's like, all right, like, it depends on how I'm feeling. I may talk to you, I may not. I'll never be rude, though. So if, like, I wasn't planning to talk and you're talking, then I'm not going to be like, all right, I got to go. but I can do that. That's interesting. There is calculated ways to go weave in and out of a conversation, depending on like how you feel, what you have to do. Do you really like this person? You know what I'm saying?
Like sitting, like knowing someone, like knowing someone enough where I could definitely talk to you, but being in a situation like sitting next to them at like a game or something where now I have to like,
you gotta engage,
like figure out what I need to say to you, or I just need to be quiet, and you're like, But anyway, hold on, because going off of the communicator, the ultimate communicator, I wanted to hear about this this Steve Harvey interview, which seemed like amazing. Which, first of all, was that in his house?
Well, he lives in a palace.
That was his house. That was like
that was his cigar room.
That was his cigar room?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was
bro, when I tell you,
it looked as big as this whole basement.
Yeah.
He's like, it's probably bigger than the whole basement.
Maybe bigger.
He lives in like a for real palace. Like it looks like.
It looks like a palace. It's a mansion. It looks like a palace though. It's acres of land.
Is it in L.A. or
Atlanta?
Oh, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is that where they shoot Family Feud?
No, I don't know where they shoot.
They got to shoot that in L.A.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of stuff gets done in Atlanta now too. But I think it's L.A.
Okay, sure. He lives in Atlanta. All right.
But yeah, that's one of his residences, at least. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he has multiple. But yeah, like Atlanta, pull up. You know, security at the door. They check your ID, scan it. Like,
you're getting like
just like you're going to like Wells Fargo. Like, you know,
you need a ticket to get.
You got to be on the list. All right. You're cool. They escort you. Then, you know, this is massive driveway with the big fountain in the middle and this huge crib. And then you're not going in the crib. You're going to the cigar / get, like, I don't know what it is, bro. Like, there was a house next to it that was his guest house that looked like
this
$1 million home. Like,
bigger than this house?
Like, yeah. Like, it just was crazy. And then we end up in a cigar room. And the cigar room is lit. There's an upstairs, there's a downstairs. And his downstairs, he has all, like, 1,000 suits. Like, 1,000 suits downstairs in this basement. It's crazy. Like, he's really the suit king. It's 1,000 suits down there. It's like one big closet and, like...
Only suits.
Only suits. And, like, boots and shoes and, like, it's just all fits.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we pull up. He walks up from the basement. Louis Vuitton down. You know what I'm saying? Straight from Virgil.
Wow.
Yeah, I think his stylist said it was Virgil's first season of Louis Vuitton. Like, you know how that works. Yeah. Like season 1.
Yeah.
So it was from there.
Wow.
And he was just like, yo, what's up, y'all? Like, he was cursing. Like, he was just at home. Like, because he doesn't do a lot of interviews.
I was going to say, I don't really feel like...
but he really rocks with the guys. So he was like, yo, what's up? Yeah, whatever. Like, he's cursing, whatever.
How did he, like... Does he just listen like to them, or like how does he know?
I think he has it. Like, I think he knows of them, and then his team kind of like fills them in. Like, yo, these guys are a big deal, and then from there he checks it out, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm rocking with these guys, so like let's set it up. That's usually how it works with a lot of celebrities. Like, their team puts them on, and then they tap in, and then they like it. So
it was definitely one of the first like interviews that I knew you were a part of when I was on Twitter. And seeing like just natural like timeline or like trending stuff about the interview.
Yeah.
Specifically about him getting like ripped off by his account, like not paying his taxes and shit. And he paid like $650,000 a month for 4 years.
He had to pay he owed $22 million in taxes because his accountant died, and his accountant's assistant said and called his lawyer. It was like, hey, like, we're in a lot of trouble right now. So basically, I don't know the specifics, but like Steve Harvey would send in his checks to his accountant with the tax form stapled to it. Now your accountant is supposed to put it in your account, take out the necessary amount for taxes, which is like 30% or whatever.
File it.
What the accountant was doing was taking all of that money and just keeping it, so the taxes wasn't getting paid.
So Steve Harvey knew the money was gone.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, this is a standard procedure, like, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't know that the guy was actually just taking the checks.
What?
So,
it's a good thing that guy's dead, because he'd be getting bodied right now.
So he ended up owing $22 million, and he had to pay $650,000 a month to get it back.
How many years was that?
So, like 7, I think it took him, maybe.
He's really got money, like $650,000 a
but that's
month.
when Family Feud started. That's why I think that was one of the main reasons he started doing Family Feud, just because of that. Yeah, he just needed to. So he just was working. That's why there's all those episodes and all these seasons. Like, he kind of had to. But I think it just helped him, because it's like, all right, like, now I know the business. Like, you know, like, you realize you don't necessarily need these people. Like, they're kind of, like, good to have. Like, you're taught to have them, but it's like, you don't really need them, honestly, because you never know.
And what was, like... Where was it to be on the podcast? Was it like a separate interview the guys are trying to do? Like,
what you mean?
Like for Steve Harvey? Like, is he just one of?
I mean, he's like a bucket list guy. Like, he's somebody they always.
So it's for their podcast.
Yeah, it's for the podcast.
Okay.
Because
I know when it goes on the line, I'm like, I don't know if they just do interviews and stuff with him.
Yeah, that was for the actual podcast, and I think they knew his business partner, one of his business partners. They had a relationship, so it just kind of facilitated it. But yeah. I think he's at like 300,000 views right now. That's
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like Steve Harvey, I was saying to you off camera, was like one of these people that, I want to look it up. Like I guess I know he's like got money.
Yeah.
But he's one of those people that I'm surprised by how much money he has.
Nah, he definitely has.
Where I'm like, how'd you get all this money? Like, investments, working, like that seems like a level of wealth that is... like surpassing working a job, right? It's like you have to have a lot of streams of income to be making
and you gotta own your stuff too. Like, that's the thing he started doing. He started owning everything. Like, he stopped hiring like business lawyers and entertainment lawyers. Like, nah, like, I got one lawyer, it's my homie. Like, I know he's not gonna do me dirty. We don't need any middlemen in this. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it like small and compact.
Sorry. Yeah, 374,000 views.
Damn. What, like 4 days or something?
Yeah, from March 15th. Yeah, and today's March 19th. Wow.
Yep. That'll probably hit 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things at the time where we knew it was like, all right, this is going to be crazy, because he talked for 2 hours.
I was going to say, this is like a really long interview.
Yeah, he talked for 2 hours.
That means he likes them, though.
Yeah, he talked to us for an hour before the podcast, 2 hours during the podcast, and 2 hours after the podcast.
Who was the team for you guys? Was it just
it's just the usual guys, like Shad, Troy, me, then the guy, their other partner, Mike, he's actually the one that films it. Like, he does, like, the episodes like that. He'll come and film it because he's got, like, the red cameras and stuff. Okay. So then I'll do my thing. And then Mike had bought, like, his OG who was helping him, like, with audio and lighting and stuff, so.
It's actually a pretty small team.
Yeah, it's not big at all. Yeah, it's not, like, a whole production crew. It's just, like,
wow,
run and gun pretty much.
Steve Harvey, man.
Steve Harvey. The legend.
I guess. I was like, right. You know what? You're right, though, because, like, it's tough. I don't know, like, did you grow up in, like, black culture? Was it that?
He was, like, stand-up comedian. He was Showtime at the Apollo, right? He was that kind of guy. Kings of Comedy. So they were the first. That was the highest grossing comedy tour until, like, Kevin Hart or something. Like, that was
Kings of Comedy was, like, him.
That was a movie. Like, they made a movie about that. Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer.
Huey, Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
It was all of them.
Right.
On one thing. So they changed the game.
I remember listening to some other, I think it was like Tom Segura or someone talking about that, watching that as a young comedian and looking at that and being like, who opens and who closes? Right, and I think he said they like have to rotate it.
Right.
Unreal. Stop snitching. Okay. So I feel like the second half segment we've been on some good current stuff.
Yeah.
Which I like. I feel like there's normally one thing every week. I'm like, okay, I feel like I could have an opinion about this. A lot of times, current stuff, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I'm like, whatever. This is all BS. People are stupid. Everyone's overreacting. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm going to read you this tweet, okay?
Okay.
You tell me. You'll think about it, I'm sure.
Okay.
The topic is Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So Calvin Ridley bet on his team to win with an NFL-partnered sportsbook. 1 year suspension. Deshaun Watson is actively facing 22 civil suits of sexual assault and sexual misconduct, fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. That's from Rich Ohrnberger, and he played for the Patriots, the Cardinals, Chargers. I think he still plays for the Chargers right now.
Okay, so he's current player.
His bio says, former player for PSU, Patriots, Cardinals, and Chargers current player. He has a host of a radio show and other stuff like that, I guess. But made a good point. I guess I can start first because I've been thinking about this, so I'll give you a second.
Nah, I mean, I know about it too.
Oh, no, I just mean like, you have a take on it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on, I'm going first.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Fine, fuck you then. I'll go first. All right. The gambling thing. I mean, it's stupid. Like, I don't know why you would do that. Like, you can't do that. I don't know what the point is, especially when he went up. I do appreciate him tweeting about it afterwards. Like,
I thought it was cool, but it was dumb, though.
It was dumb.
It was funny, but it was
because you're showing you don't care. Yeah. But, like, if it's $1,500, it's $1,500, whatever. The principle of it, I agree, is like, as someone who goes in and out of sports betting, I always think of that. Where I'm like, ugh. Maybe I would rather bet on college because these guys aren't being as compensated as these players. Are these guys taking a day off? Do they even care? Like, whatever. 1 year suspension. Honestly, I thought that was fair. I was like, okay, I mean, he's going to make a ton of money anyway. Somebody will sign him when he comes back. Like, his career isn't over, and it shouldn't be over. Like, he made a dumb mistake. You get caught. You move on. I think it does shine light on that. Obviously, that is a thing. I'm sure he's not the only guy in the entire NFL.
Probably do that all the time.
Yeah, who do that, or your homies putting money. Come on now, like everybody can figure out how to gamble on something if they want to.
Yeah,
he got caught. The Deshaun Watson thing. It's hard, right? Because I feel like there's this line where I have to believe, and I do believe that like due process is due process. Whatever they're trying to prove. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just get that, hey, look, if there's 22 of anyone saying that you did something, I feel like there has to be some truth there to a certain extent. That's just so many people. How are all those people all lying?
Yeah.
Regardless of man or woman. Just in that situation, I'm like, I find that hard to believe there's nothing consistent about it, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, if he's not convicted, like if there's nothing happening, if he's not going to jail, right? Like Cosby, he got convicted. He did that shit. Like that's horrible, not right by any circumstance. He's paying for it. However, Deshaun Watson figured out whatever Deshaun Watson did and got to the other end of it. What's he supposed to do now? Like if he's not going to jail and he's a football player, is he not supposed to play football?
Right.
Like we all knew someone's going to sign him.
Right.
Now I think people see that amount of money. And for most of us, that's a very hard amount to even like comprehend. Like, how are you worth
that much?
What you do? How are you worth that much money? Guaranteed. And I think that's just kind of where I am with it. I'm like, I feel like I believe in the due process. If you did it, you did it. You go to jail. Everybody gets a fair trial. That's why we all love this country and love that process. Some people get away with stuff. Some people don't. Some people are wrongly convicted. Some people aren't. Like, that's all part of the process that we all sign up for. Fair or not fair, I don't know.
Okay.
And then he comes in. And then my thing is, I'm like, what's he supposed to do? Like, just go away? I don't know. Maybe your take will help me understand it.
I think it's well, to start off with on the Ridley thing, I think it's dumb for anybody to bet if on the sport that you playing professionally. It's just dumb. People do it, but they do it through their homie. Yeah. They probably give their homie something like. So if you're gonna do it, at least do it like that. Even if it's $1,500, like you can't do that. So why even try? And then my thing is, you really messed up when you're like defensive on Twitter and you're like, it's only this and da-da. And it's like, well, you knew the rule. Like everybody knows the rule. Like In 2003, Tim Donaghy, the NBA ref, he got caught. He was reffing games he was betting on.
Yeah.
He cannot ref anymore.
Yeah.
So you think people would know stuff like that and just be like, well, especially it's like $1,500. You're an NFL player.
Right.
You're going to risk a year worth of salary for $1,500.
Right.
That's why Shannon Sharp was like, you lost $15 million or however much you were going to make over $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Like, you can try to justify it all you want. You didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, how much were you going to make on $1,500? You know
I thought it was funny too. I'm like,
it's not even a lot of money.
I was like, you're Calvin Ridley. You only bet that?
That's what I'm saying.
I figured you could bet like $50,000.
Yeah,
like at least make it worth it a while.
That's what I was gonna say. At least like go crazy. Like
yeah.
$1,500. I'm just like that. So that just was dumb. Like I don't think like maybe a year is a lot. I don't know, but it was just dumb. Like the rule, you violated it. You're trying to defend yourself. You look stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cool. Good luck to you. Whatever. I'm sure, like you said, he'll find a team next year. I'm sure he's not tripping. The Deshaun Watson situation is touchy because, again, you're right. Like, due process is a thing, but it's like we're kind of in this era of like once someone comes out, then it's just like it piles on. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if, and rest in peace to Kobe. Like, remember when Kobe's rape case was a thing? Like, imagine if that happened today and he was alive. It would be the one lady, and then it would just be like a bunch of other women who he probably slept with who was like, oh, well, yeah, he did it. Like, we see a lot of that now. But it's like you said, like, there has to be some truth in it. I think the reason why the Browns signed him was because he was just, he was proved innocent on 9 of those charges, like, this past week. So, like, once teams saw that, they were like, all right, like, it's a little safer to do it.
Right.
And he's a generational talent, too.
Yeah, he's still
going
to be a top 5
it's like you weigh the options. It's like, all right, like he's probably most likely he's not going to get convicted on these charges. He's not going to do any jail time. The NFL can still suspend him for a year if they want to. So that's still in the air, but it's like, all right, Deshaun's only 26 years old. So he's suspended for a year. He's 27. He'll come off of 2 years not playing. So that's his body is rested, right? Like, so it's a smart investment on the NFL team. It's like the way it's going, he's probably not going to go to jail or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let's sign him. Let's lock him in. Even if he's not with us for a year, let's just manage that year. We know that he's going to be healthy. He's coming off like some knee problems too. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tough, dog, because again, it's like he's kind of like, because you want to feel for the woman involved, but then you also know that there are women out there who are just like predators to those kind of things. Like, it probably was consensual, but because one person stepped out, now I want to step out and get some money. Like, we see it happen all the time.
Yeah, it's...
because it's the easy thing to do, and it's like, the goal is to really settle out of court if you're like in those positions, because you're like, all right, well, I know he didn't really do it, but let me just like milk it and get some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how a lot of people think.
Right, which is why, like, does it just settle? Because regardless, I don't care. All I want is some money out of this.
Yeah.
Or do I really care because this is really, horrific what he was doing? I'm like, right, and that's where I'm like, sure. I'm sure that for some of those women it is true. And I'm also sure for some of those it's not. Like, which means... So what? It's you do some wrong, you do some not wrong, and you're just horrible?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a nasty game, bro. And think about
tough,
it, like,
man.
They're all masseuses, right? So it's like, think about that.
Is that
like,
it? That's why I don't even understand.
But think about that dynamic. Professional athlete, probably single, woman masseuse. You're rubbing him in all these areas, like...
Is that it? Are all the women masseuses? Is that the thing?
For the most part, yeah. Like,
did they work for the team or something?
I don't know. Like, I think some of them were just like
women
hired. Like, it just wasn't like I just had, like, they were like masseuses. So it's like, I think that was the thing about it. But it's like, you can see it both ways. You can see him just totally taking advantage of a woman, but you can also see it just like progressing into like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's Deshaun Watson at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, man. But
I guess, and that's why my thing is, I guess that's where it's like, okay, if I'm going to go back and forth on this, right? What do I believe in? I believe in the due process. I believe that everybody gets their shot. You're guilty, you're guilty. You're not guilty, you're not guilty. But if you're not guilty, or you settle out of court, or whatever it is, we're all agreeing that this is over now. Like, we have come to a conclusion about this. Not saying he's a good guy, right? It's the same thing with, like, the Chris Brown stuff. I love Chris Brown. I love Chris Brown. His music. I want to fucking dance like him. I want to get all the tats and stuff. Like, he's the man, right? I'm not saying he's a good person. Like, I know what he did to Rihanna is horrible. But for me, the artist and the art, I can separate those things because there's so much hypocrisy in this world. As soon as you want to start to draw lines on stuff that I believe in, and I'm never doing that, and over here, and I just can't live my life like that. So it's like, my thing is, if Deshaun Watson is guilty, he goes to jail, he does his time, he does his thing. Same thing with Mike Vick. Mike Vick went to jail, bro. He went to jail, did it, said he did it. He's killing animals.
Right.
I don't know what's worse, sexual misconduct or drowning dogs. Like, they're both pretty horrific stuff that mostly everybody in the world can get behind and be like, you're a shitty person if you do that. The Eagles signed him. Philadelphia embraced him, and now he's like one of the most beloved sports legends in our town. Like, so what? You get to pick and choose over one or the other? That's where I'm like, if he's out and he's here, someone's gonna sign him. You can be outraged over the money or outraged over the whatever, but if he's not guilty, he's not found guilty. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying he's not guilty. And I think that's hard for people to like take because it's such a like visceral emotional thing because there's real trauma from real horrible things that happen to people. And then, like you said, it gets shined on the spotlight of a 24-year-old quarterback for the Houston Texans. And it's like,
it's just hard to believe that he did that with 22 women. That it was just like straight up like,
especially nowadays, right? After the Harvey Weinstein stuff.
It's just like, it's hard to believe that. I could see it happening to a couple just because it's like he's taking advantage of who he is. But I just find it hard. I have a hard time thinking he would have to resort to that to have sex with a female.
Yeah.
Like, it's Deshaun Watson.
You're a handsome, rich quarterback.
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
There's plenty of consensual women.
Yeah, it's just I think it's part of the culture now to just hop on and just like see what you can get. And hey, if it's like, I don't know, it's a tough subject, man. Because I don't want to discredit the women that have actually been sexually assaulted before. But it's like, there are women and there are people out there who just see $1 and they're just going to jump on it and see what they can do. And if it's not guilty, they don't care. Like, they don't lose anything out of that.
Yeah.
So now but then it's like, how come they're not the criminals though? People that do that and know that they're doing that. Because now you wasted a year of this man's life, a year of putting food on his family's table because you wanted to get a little bag off of it.
Of course.
Like, to me, it's like they should be criminals. Like,
tremendous.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're straight up lying, then you should like, there should be some punishment.
I think
it has to go both ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't get to cry wolf over something like that. You can ruin someone's life forever. And I think that's the thing where I'm like, Deshaun Watson's life is not ruined. If he comes out and the Cleveland Browns are in the playoffs, that team, that town will embrace him and
they have
love
a good
him.
Team.
Yep.
So I think that's what actually might happen because Deshaun is so good,
and that's where it's like,
and he's probably got this huge chip on his shoulder now. Like,
I'm sure he wants to come in and kill. $230 million guaranteed money.
That's big money.
5 years. What? He's making up every cent from the year that he had off, and it's amazing that was only a year.
Yeah, it felt longer. Well, it was a year and some change,
right?
But it was interesting because he had the no trade clause, so he controlled where he went.
I think it's only him and Russ, right?
Yeah, they both had the similar situation. They controlled where they went.
And then as a sidebar from that, that type of story is just so that is it. That's like the what are you gonna say, right? It's like there's every double standard and Hippocratic idea in that whole story, and you're like, if you have to fall back on the process, then you have to trust the process. Yeah. What else can I do? Yeah. You can still be mad. I'm not saying you don't be mad, and I'm not saying that I don't believe women. I'm just saying in this situation, he walks away.
Yeah, honestly,
what are you gonna do? I'm sure they pursued him to the best that they could.
If it's been this long, then I feel like they know he's not guilty. Right. Like if you're willing to do it for this long, most people just try to settle out of court. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to one of my homies works at the hospital, right, in the insurance department. The hospital has a whole separate budget for malpractices, like all these kind of things. Just money, millions and millions and millions of dollars pumping, put to the side in case something bad happens and somebody wants to sue. And then you just be like, all right, I'm just going to give you this. Like,
go away.
Shut up about it. Yeah. Just for that. Like, if a company knows they're guilty, they're going to just throw a bunch of money at you. But if they know they're innocent, then it might take a year. But nothing's going to happen. And now your record is wiped clean. Nobody's judging your character. Everybody's actually feeling bad for you because it's like, dang, like, you had to go through all that over false accusations. And now you just get the ball out and you get paid. Like Deshaun. Yeah. Same thing happened with Ben Roethlisberger, I think. Like, he had some rape stuff, and then he got out of it, and now nobody even talks about it. Right.
And now he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He just retired.
Same thing happened. I don't know what was Kobe's verdict. Did he do it or no? I never knew the answer to that one.
You know, that's a good question. I can't believe that he ever did because he clearly went on to become the beloved Kobe Bryant that we all know.
Nobody really talks about.
But like you said, right, most people would say, well, just the accusation would kill you enough.
Right.
But clearly, not really.
Yeah, if you're proven innocent, you can bounce back.
Come on, man. Like that's what I'm saying. And isn't that the power of the process? The power of being deemed at least. And that's why I think it's super powerful that people forget. It's not guilty or innocent. It's guilty or not guilty. Mm-hmm. That's a difference.
Yeah.
It's, it's just that I'm not guilty. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Maybe that's a shitty way of putting it, but I'm not saying you're innocent. I'm just saying you're not guilty of this thing. Maybe you're guilty of other things around that.
Right.
Maybe he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing with people he shouldn't have been with. Maybe he is guilty of that. But the specific thing you're bringing up here, I'm not.
Yeah, it's all nuanced, man. It's all nuanced, bro.
But then let me get your take on the other bombshell in the NFL, which I felt like, honestly, I thought was going to happen, was the Brady thing.
Brady coming back?
Brady coming back.
I knew he was going to come back.
But that quick to me?
Yeah.
I think I was like, bro, did you go home to see your kids for 7 weeks and you're like, I can't do this shit. I gotta go play football again.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to retire because of how it ended, how the season ended and him getting close again. I don't like it just was like, nah, I don't think this is how he would want it to, like how he would want to go out. Like, I think he wants to at least play in another Super Bowl.
I think I think he retired. Then he saw, and I think he knew this too, because I think Tom Brady is one of the most crazy, petty, mind control bending athletes of all time. Yeah. I really think he said he was going to retire, and he believed he was going to retire. And once he retired, he was going to watch everything that happened in the offseason and see if there's another opportunity after he retires. Mm-hmm. And then I think he saw everyone go to the AFC and look at the NFC and be like, who do I have to beat for real?
Right.
Who does he really have to beat? The Rams, right? Who else in the NFC is he really going to have to like muscle through? And then I think he also knows
that's a good team.
He got laid out in the playoffs, losing half of his receiving core, which by the way are all gems. Mm-hmm. Bro, his wideout situation is insane. Yeah. It's crazy. Even that core is AB. Ridiculous. Even after losing AB. And then I think he saw that and he was like, I gotta give it another shot. Like the NFC is gonna be wide open. I'm gonna destroy everybody again.
Yeah.
And then the hardest game of the season will probably be the NFC Championship or maybe the Super Bowl. But like I think he retired, and he also saw Aaron Rodgers once again lose at home in the playoffs in his own weather, all his conditions, and know that he owns him in the playoffs. He's still probably the top 5 best quarterbacks in the league. Still?
Well, he was number 1 last year. He was the best quarterback last year.
So I'm like, why would he retire?
I think just the last 2 years, or the last 3 years as a whole, going back to 2019, is last year with the Patriots, going through all of that, then going to the Bucks, going through all that, winning the Super Bowl, and then doing it again. I think it just kind of caught up to him at first. But then it's just like, you can't come off that kind of year and just retire, like, unless you won a Super Bowl. Like, John Elway retired after he won the Super Bowl. So I think it would have been different if he made the Super Bowl, win or lose, because I'm like, all right, like, maybe it's time. But I think because he lost in a divisional round, I'm like, the competitor in him is like, nah, we could do this again. We can round the troops up.
Yeah.
And that's why the Buccaneers were like, they really acted like he wasn't retired. I think
they really didn't say anything. It was like,
they were just like, well, the lights, the door's always open. Like, they were like, kind of like, he's coming back. There's no way. It just didn't seem right. Like, nobody expected him to retire.
Yeah, and it's not crazy. What is he, 44?
Yeah, but it's just like, the way he plays the game, it's just like,
he looks like he's 27 out there.
He knows everything that you need to do to get ready for the season. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He knows how much he needs to push himself. He knows when to balance himself out. Like, he just knows. And he's in Tampa. I mean, it just didn't make sense for him to retire, honestly. This was a guy that said he wanted to try to play till he was 50 at one point. So I think it was just the exhaustion of the last 3 years. And he was just like, all right, I'm done. And then you're like, nah. What am I going to do when I come back? You just can't, bro.
Yeah. So, do you still see him? Like, do you see the Bucks like in the Super Bowl next year?
Yeah, they got a good shot.
I think
they're going to bring a lot of their guys back.
Oh, and I also think that if this really is the last year, I feel like he would have definitely communicated that to the Bucks, like, no BS, for real. Like, I'm coming back because I want to put everything on the table and win. And what are the moves that they're going to make? Like,
I think he's going to do like 2-year contract. With a 2-year contract. The last year is an option though, so he can retire.
Right, and it's the player option.
It's like what LeBron's doing right now. Like, he's doing like
short-term deals,
2-3 year deals with an option. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that's where Tom Brady is at.
Because you know that team's going to pay you as long as you want to be there. So it's just how long do I want to.
All right, like, I'm just going to evaluate after the season.
You know what I
want to come back.
You know what I never knew though? Maybe you know this. Let's say you're in, a 3-year deal or something, mm-hmm. and you retire in the middle of that deal. Is that deal just like null and void, and you can come back and just do whatever you want? Or if you come back, are you obligated to finish out the terms of that deal?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Because did he finish? Like. Well, like, was last year his last year with the Bucks?
I think so. I don't know. I have to look into that, but I don't know that one.
That's what I've always wondered. Is like,
I would assume that if you retire in the middle of your deal, then that deal is just like.
But then I think, wouldn't there be petty players who just retire and then just come back to try to get out of their deal?
Yeah, maybe there's like a grace period. I don't know.
Right, because you can't, like, it's just like you can't be considered for the Hall of Fame until you've been retired for what, like 5 years out of the league.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. I mean, there's people that.
That's what I thought immediately. I was like, if I'm a player and I'm pissed, like, I'm just fine. Players have done that before. They threatened retirement, but like, I'm fine. I'll retire.
There's a guy, Vontae Davis. He retired at halftime in the game.
What?
Yeah, he retired at halftime.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what happens to his contract?
You're just done. Paid? You get half a game check.
Well, yeah, actually no, because your contract stipulates you get game checks. I don't know, man. It depends. Like, there's so much guaranteed money nowadays that, like, but I'm sure there's clauses though. There has to be clauses.
Yeah, like how do you feel about Russ going to Denver?
Yeah, I think
that was weird for me, bro.
People were talking about how it wasn't good for a while. So, I mean, it was definitely surprising because we've only seen him in Seattle. But, I mean, he's also at that point of his career where it's like maybe something new was good for him. You know what I'm saying?
How many Super Bowls has he won?
Just one, but he's been to 2.
Right? He just won 1.
Yeah, early on. But it's just like sometimes you run your course with certain places, man. You just want like a change of scenery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Seahawks haven't been the same since their last Super Bowl run.
They were garbage last year.
Yeah, they just haven't been the same. And the Broncos have a great defense. They got some weapons on offense. So it's going to be a good situation.
And you saw Von Miller's going to the Bills.
Yeah, Von Miller's living the life right now.
They signed him to a 6-year deal, bro.
Yeah,
He's like 39, isn't he?
Von Miller's living the life right now.
Yo, he went and got the ship.
He left the Broncos, got a ring. Now he's getting paid by the Bills, who probably are going to like get back to the championship.
Yep.
Like he's living the life, bro. Maybe that's his thing. Like, I'm just going to hop. You know what I'm saying?
I don't blame him. Why
yeah,
not? Especially
not either. He's already put in the work. He was already a Super Bowl champ. Now he's got 2 rings.
Especially in the NFL. People always hate on LeBron for, jumping around and stuff in the NBA, which I guess I get more because, like, you have more longevity in the NBA. But in the NFL, I'm like, dude, what? You could be over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going wherever NFL, I think I'm going to win.
That's why NFL contracts are guaranteed. Because you could have a career-ending injury tomorrow.
And that's it.
So I think the Players Union had that instituted, guaranteed contracts.
Or like portions of them at least are guaranteed. Most big players are getting some sort of guaranteed money.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. As long as you play out your contract, you're entitled to this amount of money. Then there's incentives on top of that. So it could, like Matt Stafford signed for like what? 153 today or something.
No, $160 million extension.
Some of it was guaranteed. Like most of it was guaranteed.
Yeah, I think most of it's guaranteed.
So the rest are just incentivized. Like you do this, you make the Pro Bowl, you get this money.
I guess, bro.
You have this many touchdown passes, you get this amount of money. Like contracts, man.
And you know what? The last thing I want to end this on is I did something I'd never done before, bro.
Yeah.
It was big.
What'd you do?
You know what it was? This is the first fitted hat I ever bought in my life.
I noticed the hat. It's
you seen
fire.
it?
It's
you like that?
It reminds me of like a Just Dime.
Yeah, bro. This thing is hard.
Yeah.
I've been looking,
that, but I didn't know that you never wore a fitted though,
bro. I wanted to relate this to for real. How I felt going into a lids is how it must be when like you're a girl and you're going into like try on a bra for the first time and you have no idea how this works. Like what's your size? Like how does it fit on your head?
You never had a fitted?
Bro, I've never had a fitted in my life. Ever. I've never gone into a store to like with the purpose of buying a fitted hat. Ever. I would have just been in a lids with like a friend or someone and I'm trying one on too, but with no intention of ever wearing this.
That's interesting, bro.
I've always hated hats on my head. I don't know. Until very recently, then I was going to pass the present and I saw these hats and I was putting them on. I was like, oh, like these certain ones feel good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I really want to try like a fitted. So I go in, dude, I was literally like with the other 8-year-olds, like trying on the hat. They were like, here, take the trainer hat, put this on in your size and then figure out which one you are and then go get yours and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to get 2. So I got this one and another one. And now I rock fitteds, bro. Stop snitching.